list out of this, and we're going to make a tier list on what is the best spec or best class in the pre-patch War Within. So, an arena. I'm going to put tanks down here because I don't think any of these tanks are really. This isn't Season 4 of Shadowlands where Guardian Druid was just pumping. All right, so Frost DK on this, I would give Frost DK an A. It looks like it may be back. Now, this will probably... I talked to Mez about this a little bit, and from what he was saying, it's good right now, but he doesn't foresee, from what he sees on the beta, he doesn't foresee it being good going into the War Within when we're at level cap of 80, fully geared. And I think what he means is I think it's going to change the other specs. The other specs will change more than what Frost DK will change, so it'll get left behind. Of course, S tier. If you played any arena of any kind in the pre-patch of the War Within, you understand that there is only one class more disgusting than Unholy DK. The next we got here is the Havoc Demon Hunter, which is still, I'll put these in order of what I think they are, is still A+. They still pump. It's just, they're still ridiculous. Simple rotation, big burst. Boomkin, I'm going to put down here on B. And the reason I'm putting Boomkin on B is pretty much of the Death Knights. Death Knights are natural counters to any caster class. So I think as long as Death Knights are viable, the less time it's going to be for, or the less viable Boomy will be. Next is Feral. Feral is pumping, and I'm going to put it in B, and I'll put it above Boomy because it's not a caster. Feral, the bleeds are hitting hard. You still have to know the rotation. They're still squishy, but the bleeds are big time. So if you can get in there and you know what you're doing, if you know the rotation and how to defensive, how to bear quickly, use all the self-healing, Feral is very, very strong. Did it. Of course, we know about Resto Druid. I hope, and I say this as a healer who will probably end up maining Resto Druid in the War Within. I hope they do something about this because, one, it's totally, undeniably broken. They've given it a talent called, I think it's called Fluid Form, which essentially lets Resto Druid act as a disc priest. So what that does is it gives you mana and improved damage. So you throw your tree, you get your hots out, throw your treants up, and then you can turn into a boomkin. Get Moonfire up on everybody, press Star Surge on cooldown, and just spam Wraths. And you can pump. 100% you can pump. Devastation Evoker, still strong. It's still what it is. It hasn't lost a step at all. Prez, I haven't seen much of Prez. Just for the simple fact, I'm going to put Prez on A, on a low A, and that's just because Resto Druid is so far above every other healer. Next, we'll have BM Hunter. As long as you can use, as as long as you can use turtle, you understand when to use turtle. Don't use turtle at 5% or 2%, because you can still die in turtle to bleeds and to dots. So you have the feral bleeds and the DK dots. You're going to just fall over in turtle. I'll give it a B because I don't think it's as oppressive as it was. In fact, I'll put every hunter spec on B. Just because with the armor buff, marksman doesn't have that quote unquote one-shot ability anymore. Survival, I think, is a come up from what it was right now, and it pumps. If you understand, survival can be a little complicated, but if you understand it, you can do some damage. Arcane is okay, but once again, you have DKs that are running wild, so they're going to be natural caster counters. Fire Mage, I'll put on A. And Fire Mage would be S. It's got S tier damage, but it's just so squishy that if you have somebody, if you're not the focus of the damage of the targeting, you'll pump 100%. But when people get bricked up when they see Fire Mage because it's squishy, especially if you're playing Glass Cannon, which I think they might have removed. No, did they remove it now or just on beta? I'm not sure. Somebody below tell me in the comments. Frost, I think B for the same reason Arcane is. It's not that they can't pump, it's just that the natural counters with Death Knot hurt it. Mistweaver is I'm gonna put Mistweaver on B. I don't see very many of them, and it's just hard to beat a Resto Druid. Now, I did get word from one of my sources in that's a Mistweaver main. I talked to Mystical X, and he said that as of right now on beta, casted Mistweaver dead. It's 100% fist weave, or it's a no-go. But on the pre-patch, I think either are viable. They're just on a B tier because, once again, Resto Druid is just killing it. Monk is on D tier. They can't do anything to armored classes. They're just in a really bad spot now. But for Windwalker mains going into TWW, don't worry about it. Remember, this is a pre-patch the War Within tier list. So this tier list has nothing to do with the War Within. So as of right now, I wouldn't even log on a Windwalker to do any kind of arena. HPAL, I'm gonna put HPAL on A. HPAL's been doing some healing. This right here's the fact that you don't have a healer with a prop paladin is a travesty. Rhett is on S tier. Rhett can pump. Rhett can keep up with Unholy DK and Elemental. Disc. I haven't seen much Disc, but I have a buddy of mine that I run threes with. He said Disc is pretty good. I think Pika was doing well on Disc the other day, so we'll put that on B tier. Holy. I've seen Holy do really good. I'll put that on A tier. The few times I've seen a Holy Priest, they have been able to keep pace. And that's really all you can hope to do against a Resto Druid is to keep up. Because if the Resto Druid has any idea how to play Resto Druid and has any idea of arena awareness, they're going to win. SP's dirty. He'll kill you. To all those people out there, one of the tips I can give you as far as getting past an S-Priest is make sure when that Scythe Fiend pops, you get him down as fast as possible. That will help you beat a Shadow Priest, not only in this pre-patch, but just going forward, unless they nerf Scythe Fiend. Assassination Rogue, I'm gonna put on C tier. Acid just doesn't have the defensives that it needs to compete. I got actually killed in a stun lock the other day by a Asa, like it was WAD. But that's only happened once, and more than likely, if you go in on a rogue of any kind, especially an Asa, you're going to be the target. Haven't seen any Outlaw. I'll put it on C. I don't know. Sub, I've seen a few. C, they can't do any damage. They can't kill anybody. Now, all hail the king of the pre-patch War Within pre-patch. Elemental Shaman is, remember the Reppocalypse in season 2? That's kind of what we're dealing with now, except for Ellie's kind of a little bit harder, so you're not seeing you're not seeing 4 Ellies in the same lobby, because there's a lot to kind of keep up with the dots and making sure that everybody's dotted up and all the off healing that's involved. Enhanced Shaman, I think, is honestly, I would play Enhanced Shaman over everything that's on B tier right now. If you understand the defensives and the self-healing and the off-healing of Enhancement Shaman, it can pump and it can provide a lot of utility to your team. Resto Shaman is on B tier simply for the same fact as every other healer's on B tier except for Holy Paladin and Holy Priest. You just can't keep pace with Resto Druid. Half-Lock, if you can stay alive, you can pump. Demo, I haven't been impressed with it. I haven't seen a lot of them. Destruction, I will put as it's viable if you're not the target. If you're the target, you're gonna die. That's just how it is. Warrior, Arms has been okay. Fury is dead. And that is the conclusion of my War Within pre-patch tier list. Keep in mind, this means nothing. This probably means nothing after this week. But people like tier lists and people like being fear mongers, so I figured I'd do this. If your class is on the bottom here, or it's not performing the way you want to, just remember this has a bearing on legitimately nothing. Absolutely nothing. So try to have fun, play a broken class. You can still get the achievements until I believe this coming Tuesday's reset. So like the 30th, I think, maybe. But just try to have fun with it. Try not to get tilted. Remember, there's no rating involved. Just try to be kind to one another, man. Life's hard. There's no reason to make it harder on somebody else and yourself by getting tilted.